When we think of powerful and arrogant rulers, images of ancient monarchs often come to mind. One such ruler was King Belshazzar, the son of King Nebuchadnezzar and the last king of Babylon. His story is chronicled in the 5th chapter of the book of Daniel in the Bible, and it serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of pride and arrogance. Belshazzar was living a life of luxury and indulgence, surrounded by all the riches and splendor of the Babylonian Empire. He had inherited the kingdom from his father, who was known for his great military conquests and building projects. However, unlike his father, Belshazzar did not have a humble heart. He was filled with pride and arrogance, thinking that he was invincible and above all others. One night, Belshazzar decided to throw a great feast for 1,000 of his nobles. This was not an uncommon practice for kings during that time, but what made this feast different was the blatant display of arrogance and disrespect towards God. Belshazzar commanded that the gold and silver vessels that were taken from the temple in Jerusalem be brought out so that he and his guests could drink from them. This act was not only a display of pride, but also a direct insult to God. These vessels were holy and sacred, meant to be used only for worship in the temple. By using them for their own pleasure and boasting about it, Belshazzar and his guests were not only disrespecting God, but also defiling his holy things. While they were feasting and drinking from the holy vessels, a mysterious hand appeared and began writing on the wall. This caused great fear among Belshazzar and his guests, as they could not decipher what was written. Daniel chapter 5, verse 7. The king summoned the enchanters, astrologers, and diviners. Then he said to these wise men of Babylon, "Whoever reads this writing and tells me what it means will be clothed in purple and have a gold chain placed round his neck, and he will be made the third highest ruler in the kingdom." However, none of the wise men were able to interpret the writing on the wall. It was then that the queen, likely Queen Nitocris, reminded Belshazzar of Daniel, a wise man who had served under his father's reign. She told him that Daniel had the gift of interpreting dreams and visions, and she urged him to call for him. Daniel was brought before Belshazzar, and the king offered him riches and power if he could interpret the writing on the wall. But Daniel refused these gifts, telling Belshazzar that he could keep his rewards and instead explained the meaning of the writing. He told Belshazzar that the words Mene, Mene, Tekel, Upharsin meant that his days were numbered, and his kingdom would be divided and given to the Medes and Persians. That very night, Belshazzar was killed, and his kingdom was conquered by King Darius of the Medes. This event marked the end of the Babylonian Empire and fulfilled the prophecy given by Daniel. The downfall of King Belshazzar serves as a powerful lesson for us today. It shows us the consequences of pride and arrogance, especially when it is directed towards God. Belshazzar's actions were a direct challenge to God's authority and a display of his own perceived power. We can also see how his pride blinded him from seeking wisdom from those who were wiser than him. Instead of turning to Daniel for interpretation, he relied on his own wise men who were unable to help him. As a result, he missed out on receiving timely warning and guidance that could have saved him from his tragic end. Belshazzar's story also reminds us that our actions have consequences, and we will be held accountable for them. Belshazzar's arrogance and disrespect towards God cost him his kingdom and his life. It is a reminder that no one is above God, and our actions will ultimately catch up with us. In today's society, pride and arrogance are often celebrated and seen as signs of success. We are bombarded with messages that tell us to put ourselves first, to seek our own pleasure and desires above all else. However, the story of King Belshazzar teaches us that true success comes from humbly acknowledging God and seeking His guidance in all aspects of our lives. As we reflect on the tale of King Belshazzar, let us remember the dangers of pride and the importance of humility. Let us seek wisdom from those who are wiser than us, and always remember to give honor and respect to God. May we learn from his mistakes and strive to live a life that is pleasing to God, for only then can we truly find lasting success and fulfillment.